Okay, where are we at? Back again. Some good news. Can you see it? Could you see it when I had? No, you couldn't. We'll leave that till later. We will leave that till later. Real quick here. I did get this part way tore down. I brushed the fans out. We do have the 12 volt rail loose, and the fan, this fan is loose also. I did disconnect it and flip up, brush out the heatsink here, which there's no real good view. Oh, we'll dump the screws out there. Good job, kitty. One job to do and you blew it. You blew it. So that is somewhat cleaned out. Let's go ahead and continue with this and try and see why else could it be running hot. So we got one fan cleaned out. We have another fan that I just did brush out, but we're gonna unmount it quick here and see if there's anything else we can do about that as well. Nope, Phillips was our guy. We didn't trust our brain. Okay, so if I'm live, let's refresh the page real quick. It's saying I'm not, but if I really am, and I'm not, okay. YouTube, you lie. You lie. There. That's the best I can get for you people. Go ahead, we're gonna pull this fan out as best we can and see if we have a blockage. Now this is not for a GPU. We cleaned this fan, brushed it out, got in here pretty deep into the heatsink, brushed that out, it's clean. Now we need to, we've got to do a couple things here. Let's unmount this ROM. We have a fan here, a blower that is cooling our power supply. So we need to move this ROM to move the SATA cable. Alright, and then that's going to let us lift our fan and access this right here. This piece is just like a little housing that directs our turbine fan air into the power supply or out. I don't know, depending which way, if it's push or pull. I'm guessing push, going by the design. Oh, okay. So there, I don't know if we can see that. Let's go ahead and take a look. So we do have a bit of cloggage. Not bad, but you can see that there is definitely. Let's go ahead and pull this stuff out. Get our handy tweezers. This looks like this was either built up or fell. And I don't think our fan's really going to come out. Oh, okay, they did give us some length on it. So we can pull it out and brush the underside of it off as well. I don't think that's going to do the job. We'll try this. We do have the air compressor up front. When it's later like this, I try not to turn it on due to the neighbors. This is after hours. Come on, get with the program. We don't turn it on after hours usually. It's not too late yet, but there is the fact of neighbors. You always got to take that into consideration. So let's get that out of the way. Oh yeah, there is some buildup there. I'm just not seeing where that exits from. So do we take this further? I don't think. I think we're going to reassemble. Before we do, we've got one further thing to check on the heat. So this thing is thought to be really infected, and also they think it's running a bit hot for being infected, but maybe it's not. Let's take, you know what? Maybe that was a bad idea pulling that out of there. Let's fish it back in. And I think that will make it. Is that really the way they're doing this? Alright, you got her. Quickly now, kids. Still got to head home. Alright, what do we need? 2 black ones to mount this down, and then we'll lock our ROM back into place. Just to, in case people don't read the description, this is a Dell Inspiron 23 model 5348 series. As far as an actual model number, we have a Dell part number, and I don't know if that applies to the whole thing. It's ONV35T, or do they have anything else on these stickers? You may also find this thing referred to as, the model number is a W10C. The type would be a W10C001. Just look up Inspiron 23 5348 or enter your service tag on support.dell.com and you'll find out about your computer. Alright, that is latched in. We're going to go one step further here. This drive was pulled and scanned with Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes found nothing. Something might have been wrong with that instance of Malwarebytes. I ran it again and it found, I think, 14. Removed them. Defender also found a couple things with this plugged in as an external. So it's back in now. We're going to see how infected it seems once it runs. Before we boot it up, we've got one further thing we're going to do. We're going to check under this heatsink from yesterday. I left this sit until the end of the day. The only thing different that we did was move it from this counter over here, the one that is commonly behind me. We had it here yesterday. We moved it over here for all intents and purposes today. So let's go ahead and pull the heatsink and heat spreader unit here and see what condition our thermal paste is in. There's a couple ways this could go. It could be goopy and good, but if it's running a little hot, yes, infected and malware, viruses, whatever running rampant can do that. More often than not, you got a thermal paste problem. This thing when was this made? Inspiron 235348. I'm not familiar with it from working on it. This should have a 3rd gen processor in it. Intel 3rd gen, so let's give that a look. Alright, we have the heatsink and that loose. Not a trace of thermal compound on our processor. We can actually, let's bring you in closer here. You can stand a little closer, just not too close. I don't want you bumping into stuff, wrecking the joint. Alright, so our processor here is an Intel Pentium G3220. So that would be a Pentium processor, 3220, 3rd gen, Ivy Bridge Pentium. Wow. Okay, let's check out our thermal paste, if this camera adjusts. Thermal paste is, yeah, completely dried out or never officially made contact. I suppose it could be both. It is fairly dry, not much. You can see that I'm rubbing it, but not much is transferring the glove, not like new thermal compound would. And unless Dell or Intel or somebody drastically switched out their thermal compound as of late, that's a bit dry. So we're not really transferring any heat away from the processor. Where can we do this on camera? We can still see it kind of here. I'll brush it on the counter. Just no, we won't. Actually, give me a moment. Do we have a paper? Do we have a paper? Alright. Yeah, that's not smearing, not nothing. That's coming off clumped up, sticking to the brush in clumps. Now, maybe this was built in a newer time frame than can we see that? Not really, but which we always try. We always try to show. So most of it just clumped up in larger clumps, and about half of it's in the brush, the other half is on our paper here. Fairly dry thermal compound. We're gonna apply some new. That stuff is dust. Yes, I know brushing it off turned it to dust, but opinion wise, I don't believe it should be like that, and I'm thinking that's one of the sources of the heat. So let's look a little further into this. Boy, how do I fix that without getting crazy right now? I'll take it. Okay. A little bit of alcohol on a Q-tip. IPA, I guess you could call it that. If it's what, 99? Does 97% qualify as IPA? Isopropyl rubbing alcohol. I don't know. Another thing, when you are cleaning up, spin your Q-tip. It will not leave fibers behind usually. When you just rub without turning it, you can leave some fibers behind. You don't want those mixed in with thermal paste. It won't make that much of a difference, to be honest, but it's just something to say. Some people don't believe it. We're not getting a microscope out to prove it. The myth is real. clean. We'll give that a moment to evaporate. We'll take our completely dry, go back over everything. All right. This may be a bit much, but we're going to see how it smashes out. Again, that's a need to know thing. Is it wasting it? Yes, but I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to smash out with that amount on. Alright, all 4 screws, we'll run around and check them diagonally, are tightened down. We got, I don't know if there's an appropriate amount of torque, but they are tightened down. Give that a sec to squeeze out. It should already be. Let's remove this and see. We'll re-clean it. And see what kind of thermal paste application that was. Enough. It spread out and covered what we needed it to fairly evenly, except for in the 2 corners. There's 2 corners, and the die on these, I don't know where it is on the G3220, but I'm fairly certain it's not in the 2 corners, that it just barely didn't touch. So, as wasteful as it is, let's clean this off and reapply and reassemble. Thermal paste that is working and not dried out comes off more like that. Not a powder that has a slight tackiness to it. It will actually come off. Why not just leave it on? You could get even more uneven spread, I suppose. I don't know. There's a lot of myths behind this. I don't know there's any real authority on it. Go look up one of the people, Kingpin, he's heavy into overclocking. LTT, they have some good advice on their forums, and even a video covering this exact thing, I suppose. We're going to grab one more Q-tip here. Our IPA. Give this a slight cleaning, just to clean the surface. And re-clean this surface one more time. Like I said, that was just very wasteful. However, that was more or less just to see that when tightening the heatsink down, it was going to spread the thermal compound out, and there wasn't a defect with this. Something that was not letting it sit down all the way. And that's why there was none on the processor when we pulled it off. Other than that, maybe there was a defect from the factory with the thickness of the thermal compound, and it didn't squash down enough. I don't know. What I do know is we can put it on, it's going to squash it out real nice. And when I lifted it, there was some here, there was some here, and that's what we wanted to see. Alright, again, let's reapply and get this reassembled and get it on its foot again. Let's give a nice little bead there, or a grain of rice or 2, like a cooked grain of rice, not a dehydrated and shrunken down, unswollen grain of rice. You want one that has been cooked, steamed for quite a while, and is fluffed up, fluffy. About that size rice. I've been experimenting a lot with the sound too, and I think you guys might have saw that when I lifted it up, but oh well. It was very quick if he did. Anyhow, I've been experimenting with the sound, trying to work on getting rid of that obsessively loud hiss. Like obnoxious, not obsessive, obnoxiously loud hiss. And I think I've got closer to my goal today. Again, I'm not an audio engineer, never claimed to be, but I do love the audio thing, the podcasting space. Content creation space, yes, somewhat, not near as much as the audio content creation. However, let's go ahead and remount this. This did detach, so it will mount back up. We're going to have to put a piece of tape or something across there to help hold that. We've got 3. Everything is in. Let me look at these. Those are the 4 big ones for that, and then we have a black one that goes where exactly? Right here possibly. As well, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are one black one here, and then these 3 connecting the fan. Let's go back to this. Apologies about the glare. I do not have any soft boxes over the lighting here. It's all 5000, so like basically daylight, and I think 5500 or 5000 K, and it's bright, and a softbox would help. However, they don't really make them for shop lights with LED bulbs that I know of. They may, I could be completely wrong. I just don't know of them. So let's get that in. That will go. You know, I think we have to plug this in and work it back. If we would have worked that all the way up, we would not have succeeded. There's one. Bring it. Bring it. And go there. Alright, let's get our plate for the foot and figure out its direction. I do believe it is something like this. We're pinching no wires. Our fan wire is loose. Our 12-volt rail is in there. We can put down all 4 of the big ones in the small black one. The black one, I think, I don't know, partially for alignment, support, who knows. But let's put that there. And go to an opposite corner, mount this down. Everything is connected. We've got our thermal compound there, our fan plugged in. Everything important that we undid is redone minus the back cover. Let's do a test right now. What is this for? In. One. There's no screws there. It's going to jump out and bite us at any point, but that's alright. We're free to search. There's no marks there, so it couldn't possibly go there. Right here for our heatsink. Okay. The one screw I didn't put in. Alright, no screws left over. That is a good feeling when you're working on these things. If you do ever end up with screws left over, just go back over your work, check it out, and see where could there possibly be a screw that didn't get put in. Sometimes tearing it back apart, in the case of a laptop, it's not fun. Let's see, can we put this foot on without the back on safely is the question. It's not going to hold it steady. But it will hold it. Okay. We will just slightly slide our mouse pads out of the way. Let's get our power cable. What time is it? Time to go? Yeah, it's getting there. We're going to get this turned on and see if the fan runs as loud. If not, we will continue with it tomorrow. I'm guessing part of the heat issue is already solved. The other part is we're not running it with the back on. So it may or may not be as efficient. It's hard to tell. That powered up quick. But do we have to actually hit it? And we need the back panel too. HDMI out is the furthest over. And we have a display port out too, imagine that. Alright, can the repair find the computer? Will be really cool, right? I'm guessing a big fat no. Our cam link is enabled. It is just not digging us any. Let's unplug the HDMI and see. Okay. This is always fun when you have gloves on. Okay, so part of the heat, it's not blowing hot air like it was at one point here. You can feel it's very cold. Look at that, a camera cover for the paranoid people out there. We've got to enter a pin. Okay, so no on-screen keyboard. Let's get our portable keyboard mouse combo and plug in here. Oh, it finally did pop it up. Logging in, very good. Okay, a little quicker on the boot up. This time compared to last time. We don't have a whole lot of adjustment like we did the one Dell. So let's get an HDMI cable plugged in here and see if it's going to give us a display. If it did, that would be really cool. And there we have it. It should be duplicating. Control Alt delete it and get this up, and we will start our task manager. Let's go to more details and performance. That's not going to tell us a lot. Alright, CPU is way down, memory is down, disk is at 100 doing its thing. That is more of stuff still starting up or malware conditions. Do we have a version of, let's look in downloads. And get us a flash drive to get this. Hopefully you don't need an account. No, you don't. Download. Just going and grabbing CPU-Z real quick. Download now. Show in folder. Send to our flash drive. Did it do it? Extracted, pull it. Let's go back over to our repair. Actually, that don't make sense to use that screen, but alright, let's flip on our repair quick and get a little bit more info about our processor. When I ran this initially, I came in, this was booted up. I did not start the initial stuff on it. Cores 2, threads 2, so essentially a quad core. 1150, what is 1150, people? My memory is failing me. What is 1150? Is that 3rd gen? Let's take a look over here. Haswell. What is... Okay, so no. Stock 11, it would be 4th and 5th gen. So that Pentium G3220, I guess, is the 4th or 5th gen associated processor. Could it be, or is it just the same socket? Can't be. What was Ivy Bridge? $11.55. Yeah. Okay, so 1155 and 1150. Alright, there you have it. A little bit of processor info. I didn't catch if anything had the temperature. We could jump into the BIOS for that, but who knows if we're going to see the BIOS. Okay, bench. CPU, this processor. Benchmarks. Our CPU. No, we're not going to get into any of. Alright. Let's leave it there. It seemed to be running with less less heat in the air coming up here. Now granted, the back is not on it. It's not fully assembled. We did a total Frankenstein move and locked the foot on without the back on it, just to get it up and on its feet. We will continue with this tomorrow. And see, it's time to get home for the day. This session of After Hours is over. I'm going to continue cleaning up real quick. How do I even show this with this big monstrosity in the way? How? I suppose we could do it like that. Anyhow, we got the arm. It is zip tied up here, but let me put this in before I lose it. We got a friend of the shop, hopefully a friend of the show, to make us a replacement mount that normally, like I said, I don't know if anybody heard it during the one live stream or not, but that's I think it has some kind of shock system in there. I don't want to say gas shock, and then the other part mounts solid, and it's just a swivel arm with the adjustable arm. This had a mount on it that looked like that, okay, and that would let this VESA mount slide down, which mounts to the back of a monitor television. Then you screw it on there to keep it, to retain it. This is not compatible with a camera, so we had a piece fabricated. Like I said, this is awesome. I appreciate it. Fully adjustable if we need it to be, plus the ball head is adjustable. It works with the factory mount, or with the rest of the factory arm, so super psyched about that. Have to get this set up and check it out, see what we can do with an actual mirrorless camera on a moving arm. That could be exciting. We will get back to the Dell tomorrow. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you then, people. Have a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's one of those. Enjoy it. I will see you then.